Hey everybody, welcome back to the Outpost. Today I'm up in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, and I'm up in Cades Cove, which is one of the most visited areas in the Great Smoky Mountains. Up here they've got a lot of historic cabins, they got churches, they got a grist mill up here, they got all different kinds of wildlife from spotted deer to bear, not really any elk in this region. But they got black bears and turkeys and just all different kinds of wildlife here. We're actually heading up to a cabin right now. So history says that by around 1850 there were 685 families that actually lived in the cove area up here. Initially round logs were used, and they were felled and they were hewn out using a broad axe to make them flat on all four sides, and there was no use for nails. They actually used wooden pegs to hold the timber frame structure or the cabin together. And as you all have been watching me on video, I'm actually building a timber frame, so when I drill the holes I'm actually going to be using round pegs as well to hold my structure together. That's the traditional way of doing the building. They used chinking in between the logs, and they also built stone fireplaces and chimneys so that they could heat with wood during the winter to keep themselves warm. The chinking, you know, they used red clay, mud, which is very common around this area here, to fill in those gaps. They tried to not have too many windows and doors, possibly only one or two at a time, because they wanted to try to conserve their heat, so the less openings they had to fill meant that they could actually stay warmer. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed that little short video. I wanted to take off and go up to Cades Cove because the colors about this time of the year are normally changing. Although it was dry for a really long time and hot, and the leaves didn't really turn much, and then we had a cold snap and some rain, and a lot of them seemed like they were falling that had turned brown, so we had a lot of different shades of brown. But still there was some color. I hope that you enjoyed that. That is fall in East Tennessee in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. I had a great time doing that. I wanted to really pull over. I had taken stuff that I wanted to cook with me, but there was so many people that I really didn't get an opportunity to do that. So I just decided to come on back here to the outpost and talk, a little bit before I ended the video. But if you remember in the video where I had showed the dam that was running in the wooden flume that was built, it actually runs down out of two creeks that come together, and there was kind of like a little pond made, and it funneled that water into this flume, and it runs down to that mill, which turns that big wheel that you've seen, and it actually powers the gears on the inside of the grist mill there, and they actually had corn in there that was being ground into meal. Now, corn was a very staple type of plant that they used in this area, and it can grow in good conditions or bad conditions, and relatively, it can be unattended too. But if it's tended, and kept up, then the ears grow really nice, and they used it for meal, they ground it up for flour, they used it for mash, they even used it for drink, if you all know what I'm talking about when I say corn liquor. But it was used for many different things, and feeding the animals to, shelling corn and feeding that to the chickens, and then running the stalks through a grinder, and kind of still today they mix that with a little bit of hay, and they grind some of the corn, and they still make feed out of it for livestock. And then those structures, that the cabins in the churches that are still there from the beginning of the 1800s, that's one reason that I wanted to do this timber frame, because I don't think that my timbers are quite as big as some of those logs, but they're not small either. My posts are 7 inches square, and then my floor joists, the beams where my actual floor joists are going to rest, they're 7 inches by 10 inches. So once we start putting this up, which will be in the next few weeks actually, I'm getting ready to dig the footers and pour the concrete and start putting this thing up. I've got just a few more beams to cut out and some braces, and this thing is going up in the air. So I'm excited about that, because it's been a long time just repetition, whittling out posts and mortises and tenons and beams and things like that. So I'm excited for this thing to get to go up. This timber frame that I'm putting up, it should be here, 100 or 200 years. So hopefully what I'm building today will last as long as that. I'm not saying that I want anybody touring the cabin in the decades to come, but people just don't make stuff like that anymore, because it takes, I've built homes before, and to build something conventional, I could have been under roof by now. But to take on something like this, was a challenge, and it was a major project. But it's coming together, and it, when you do something like that and you hand do it, literally hand do it, then, there's more quality in it, and it's going to last longer. So I'm excited to finally get this thing up in the air, and hopefully by next spring I'm going to cut wood all winter and stack it so it'll dry. Hopefully next spring I can start closing this in. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure and check us out on Instagram and Facebook. We have the new website, SmokyMountainOutpost.com. We just want to say again that we appreciate very much you guys following us along and supporting our channel. And I kind of took time today to go up and video the colors for you, because if you don't have a chance to get up there, that I wanted you to be able to be at least part of that, because it is very beautiful, especially this time of the year when you go up there and the leaves are changing. So I'm going to go ahead and close the video. Just want to say, hope everyone has a great afternoon. Take care, be safe, and we look forward to seeing you at the outpost in the future.